Okay, sure. So let's get started with the session without any further ado. Before that, a quick formal introduction on my end. My name is Mohammed Shoaib. I'm a cybersecurity trainer certified from EC Council, and I teach courses such as Certified Ethical Hacking, Web Application Pen Testing, and SOC, Security Operations Center, related to tools as Splunk and Alien Vault. Okay, so our session today is on the first course mentioned, which is Certified Ethical Hacking, version 11, the latest version of the course provided from EC Council. Okay, and this is a course for people who are completely new to the cybersecurity domain or who are shifting their domain from a different one. Okay, and before I proceed further with the demo session, this is a common question that I ask all the students who attend the session, just so that I can get a perspective or an understanding of how, if you're completely new to the field, or if you've heard about it, or if you've learned the course earlier, or done some part of it somewhere else. Okay, so in your terms, guys, can anyone let me know what hacking is? So again,
unwanted access.
Yeah, unwanted access. That's a great answer. Anything to add on that? Unwanted access to what?
To any social applications, social media, like.
Yeah, to applications or devices as well.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
Guys, anyone else who wants to add upon that? Add upon Abhay, you are the one, right, answering, or is there someone else? Hello. Guys, I hope I am audible to everyone. Gautam, Kumar, Manohar, Rahul, Manoj, Mujahidul Islam. Guys, let's keep this session a bit interactive and fun. Let's not just keep this one-sided and boring. So if possible, please let me know if you're able to hear me or not. And if I'm audible to everyone, so that I know that my voice is reaching to you. Can everyone hear me? Hello.
Sir, I can hear you.
Okay.
I don't know the rest of the people.
Okay. Abhay, can you hear me? Gautam, can you hear me? Kumar, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you, guys. Thank you for responding. Manohar, Saujanya, Manoj, Mujahidul Islam. Okay, guys. Okay. Okay, no problem. So let's get started. I guess a couple of people are still adding on to the demo. I guess the people are still joining. They're a bit late, but not an issue. We are just beginning. So this is a completely new small demo on certified ethical hacking, guys, who have just joined. Okay, again, we'll be taking the same demo as well tomorrow and day after tomorrow as well. So I'll get to that later, but not an issue. So let me just display the complete information on what hacking is, or just to add upon your words. Hacking is nothing but the procedure of trying to gain access to information systems, guys. Okay. Now, these information systems could be anything. They could be your mobile phone to as big as a web application server or a database. Okay. And this gaining access is done without the permission or without the consent and the knowledge of the person on those systems. And this is usually performed for hackers' benefit. Okay. So once he gets access to those devices, he can steal your data or destroy that data or just sell that data on the dark web. Okay. And sometimes hackers even do it just for fun. Okay. Now, if hacking seems such a malicious job or such a criminalistic task, why do we have a course called ethical hacking? It's the second question. Because the certification itself asks or tells you that you will be a certified ethical hacker. Okay. Now, what is this ethical hacking and how is it different from hacking? It's the next question. Okay. So when we talk about ethical hacking, on the other hand, this is the procedure of trying to find vulnerabilities or loopholes. Now, a vulnerability is nothing but a weakness, a flaw, a loophole in the source code of the information. Okay, so your job as an ethical hacker would be to find these vulnerabilities or loopholes in information systems, and this is done with the consent, with the permission from the organization. So you abide by the laws and policies set by the organization, and then you try to find the weaknesses in their systems. Once you find them, you try to report them back so that the authority or the organization in whose systems you found the vulnerabilities, they can apply the patches to it. Once a patch is applied, that vulnerability closes, and thereby you're increasing the security of the infrastructure rather than causing any harm. Okay, so I hope that is clear, guys. Rahul and others as well. The main difference between hacking and ethical hacking on the other hand.
Yes.
Perfect. Now, depending on these two terms, guys, we can categorize the various types of hackers as well. So there's basically three types of hackers. There's someone known as a black hat hacker, a gray hat hacker, and finally someone known as a white hat hacker. Okay, a black hat hacker is someone who performs hacking for his own benefit or just for fun. So he does this without asking for consent and he tries to steal data or destroy the data. On the other hand, the hero of the story is your white hat hacker, also known as an ethical hacker or a penetration tester. Okay, this is someone who abides by the laws and policies of the organization and works hand in hand with them to find the vulnerabilities. Once a vulnerability is found, reports it back to the organization so that they can patch it. Once a vulnerability is patched, once it's closed, it closes the doorway for the hacker to cause any further harm. Okay. In between these two guys, a black hat hacker and a white hat hacker, there are sometimes gray hat hackers also. These guys are like freelancers or intermediate guys who have both the qualities of black hat as well as white hat. Okay, so like a black hat hacker, they don't ask for permission before pen testing or before performing any attack. But once they find a vulnerability, they don't misuse it. Like a white hat hacker, they report it back, but they don't do it for free, obviously. They do it for a bounty. That bounty could be anything. It could be a prize reward, it could be a money reward, or a reputation in the Hall of Fame of that company, recognition for them, anything that could benefit their career. Okay. Now, all these three types of hackers, whether that be a black hat hacker, a gray hat hacker, or a white hat hacker, perform hacking in a specified procedure. Oh, okay, so they follow a systematic set of procedures to perform this hacking or ethical hacking. And these set of procedures are known as hacking cycle or cyber kill chain. And if you follow these steps in that same order, in that same systematic procedure, the process or the probability of getting access increases a lot higher by 70 to 80%. Okay, so there's a higher success rate when these steps are followed in the same fashion. Okay, and any organization or any hacker or any ethical hacker or any pen testing firm as well follows the same procedures in the same systematic way. Okay, so this would be like the roadmap for you to understand the whole course in one single shot. Okay, so first, there are 5 important steps as I've mentioned. Again, various organizations give them various different names, but to summarize, there are 5 important simple name formats. Okay, first step is known as information gathering. It can also be called as reconnaissance or footprinting. Second step is scanning. It can also be called as enumeration. Third step is gaining access. Fourth step is maintaining access. And finally, the last step is like reporting or clearing trace. The reason why I've specifically written or in the last step is because that is where it makes all the difference between a white hat hacker and a black hat hacker. Okay, if you are a white hat hacker, you try to report all the vulnerabilities found. If you're a black hat hacker, you perform the attack on those vulnerabilities and you would slowly try to remove all the evidences, which is nothing but clearing traces so that the organization cannot trace you, cannot find you later. Okay, so it's like removing just the evidence. Any questions or doubts up to this part? If anyone, Rahul or Gautam.
Sir, could you please give us an example on that?
Rahul, I couldn't hear you properly. Can you please repeat your question?
Sir, could you please give an example on that?
Yeah, I'm going to proceed further and explain about each of these steps one by one. So that you understand what are these steps and how do we proceed with that as examples as well. But up to this point, questions? Okay, assuming safely that there's no doubts up to this point, let's briefly discuss about each of these steps one by one now, so that you have a better understanding of what these steps are and what do you do in these steps. Okay, so the first step is information gathering. As the name itself suggests, this process involves trying to gather as much as possible information about the organization. And you gather this information at passive methods. Okay, so in information gathering step, you try to gather as much as information as possible from passive method. What I mean by passive methods is that you try to get this information from third-party sources. Rather than contacting the organization directly, you get this information from other websites, is what I mean by that. Okay. And you could ask me, so what kind of information are we actually trying to gain at this step? And this is the information as follows. So you try to gain information such as the IP address information, range of IP addresses, the host records, their DNS records, employee details like their contact numbers, email addresses, and the company domain names, subdomains, operating system information, and usernames and passwords. Excuse me, just a second, guys. Okay, I'm so sorry, a bit sick today. But anyways, as I was mentioning, so in the process of information gathering, you try to get all these kinds of information. Now seems to be a lot, but there are specific gold mines on the internet from where you can get these resources for free without paying anything. You can get this kind of information for any organization in the world from the internet. So information gathering involves you to try to get this information about any organization from various different sources. So if I wanted to find the email addresses of a certain organization, let's say wipro.com, all I would have to do is go to a browser and search for a website like hunter.io. Okay. So this is one good resource which is able to give you the email addresses for any organization that we. So if I search for wipro.com, you can notice on that email. So from this organization, hunter.io, it has fetched me all the email addresses of the working employees of wipro.com, as you can see. And it also tells me what post they are working for: product manager, lead architect, marketing head, and their original emails of working professionals who are still working for Wipro. And this could be possible for any organization, whether it be wipro.com or flipkart.com, doesn't matter. Okay, you'd get their working professional emails. Now, these emails can be used by attackers, hackers to perform phishing emails, to perform phishing attacks. Okay, so sending them fake login pages and trying to get the credentials from them. If I wanted to get the domain name server information for any organization, I could go to a website like DNS Dumpster. Now, these are, as I've mentioned, gold mines on the internet, special resources on the internet that not many people know about. Okay, now you're trying to get this information passively from other sources. So if I search for an organization like wipro.com again, and if I click on search, this website gives me a complete map, a complete physical network topology map of the organization servers, their email addresses, their IP addresses, and the whole network map, as you can see, giving each and every information about every public server that is related to wipro.com. Now, this information is quite publicly available, but not many people know that this can be achieved or this can be gathered in such a way. So in information gathering, what we'll try to learn is how do you use or utilize the resources on the internet properly and get this information from these various sources. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you might not have heard about these websites till date, but again, as I told you, internet contains a lot of such gold mines. Okay, it's just that you need to research a bit, you need to find those resources a bit. Okay, and through them, this information is easily obtained. Now, again, not everything can be obtained from the internet just passively. Sometimes you have to make active methods as well. You have to contact the organization directly with some tools and get that information. That is the next part, which is scanning. Okay, so in scanning, we'll have important tools like Nmap and Nessus, through which we can send some specially crafted packets. And for responses in those packets, we can get some extra crucial information, which we could not get from the internet. Okay, so 50% of a job gets done with information gathering, for gathering info. The rest 50% gets done with the scanning part, where you try to get some extra information, which you could not get in the information gathering part by making active connection system. So in information gathering, you get information passively. In scanning, you get that extra information actively by making active connections with the target. Okay, so there's three parts of scanning basically we discussed, and these are as follows. So there's network scanning. Firstly, where from your device, you can try to figure out in the network of the organization what all other devices are active in your own local network. After that, you can perform port scanning to figure out on those active devices which are running, whether it be servers or databases, whatever it be, on those devices, what ports are open, and on those ports, what services are running. Finally, you perform vulnerability scan to understand on those services, are there any vulnerabilities which can be attacked? So you perform automated vulnerability scanning to find the list of vulnerabilities in each and every device or endpoint in the organization. So for this, we'll be using very important tools such as Nmap and Nessus. Okay, so if I open up a browser, let me just show you. This is the tool that you usually use in organizations as well. So whatever tools that are mentioned in the course or discussed in the course, these are all real-time tools, guys, that are used in organizations in the present scenario. Okay, so if I search for Tenable, this is the organization that provides the tool called Nessus. So over here, yeah, as you can see, Nessus. Okay, this is the tool that is used in organizations. And in organizations, they buy this tool for $3,000. Although if you're a freelancer, you can also use the free available tool. It does not contain the cloud scanning features, but sufficient for a normal pen testing. So if I just open up my Nessus tool, which is installed on my system, this is how your Nessus tool looks like once you have installed it. Okay, and you can log in to it Once you log in, you can perform any kind of a scan. So if I go to policies and scan templates, that contains all the advanced scan, basic network scan, web application scan, malware scan, and so on. Okay. So this tool is an automated tool for you to find out all the vulnerabilities in your devices in the network. Once you scan, it will categorize all the weaknesses that are existing in your devices and give you a complete report. Okay. And this is all known as automated vulnerability scanning. Okay. Finding out all the vulnerabilities in your organization system. Okay. Once you get a report like this, on this report, you perform manual testing or manual pen testing, checking if each and every vulnerability shown is actually true or it is just an error or false positive by the tool. Okay. So first you perform automated scanning, then you perform manual testing on that, which is known as penetration testing. Okay. So you might be hearing the term penetration testing a lot when you work for an organization. Okay. Pen testing is nothing but trying to manually check for the vulnerabilities or weaknesses in the systems. And that is a part of the next concept, which is gaining access. Okay. So once you have gained all the information, once you've gained the list of all the vulnerabilities for a system, the next part is directly attacking the target. And that is known as gaining access in simple terms. Okay. Gaining access contains a vast variety of topics and techniques. And these are as follows. Okay. So first thing that we'll be learning in gaining access is system hacking, where in that class, I'm going to teach you how to practically hack or crack any Windows operating system password. Okay, so whether that be Windows 7, Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 10 or 11, how do you crack that password or how do you bypass it? Okay, if it is too strong to crack, how can you completely erase the password and get access to the internal system files is what we learn in system hacking. Okay, after that is malware attack, where I'll practically show you what malwares are, how do you create them, and what are the different categories in. Okay, malwares are nothing but malicious softwares, and that's an umbrella. It contains a lot of categories like viruses, worms, trojans, spyware, ransomware, whatnot. There's tons and tons. So we'll practically discuss the most important and the most elite malwares. Okay, and I'll practically show you how these malwares are created and how do you defend yourself from these kinds of malwares. Now, there's a bonus topic as well, malwares advanced, where I'll give you the resources to create your own malware in a Python programming language. Okay, again, you don't need to separately learn Python. I'll be teaching whatever is required for that specific topic. I'll be teaching it myself. Okay, and I'll be providing the resources for you to understand how you can create your own malware using a programming language that is known as malware development. Okay, again, that's a completely different course, guys, different field itself, but I'll be providing you the resources sufficient to get started. Okay, after that, this network penetration testing, where we learn all the common network attacks, such as man-in-the-middle attack, denial of service, DOS attacks, distributed denial of service, DDoS attack, and hacking Wi-Fi networks or hacking wireless routers. And then finally, there comes social engineering. Okay, so in social engineering, I'll be showing you all the common phishing attacks or smishing attacks that are performed by attackers. Okay, how hackers create fake login pages. How can you create a fake Facebook page or a Twitter page or an Instagram page or any fake bank website, bank login page? How all these fake pages are created and how do you send them to people and get the credentials and how do you protect yourself from these kinds of attacks. Okay, so whatever attacks we discuss, we'll be discussing how to secure yourself as well from these kinds of attacks. Okay, then comes web application pen testing, where I'll show you all the common vulnerabilities in websites. Okay, so you have weaknesses in websites through which hackers can get access to the backend databases and the servers. So there's vulnerabilities like SQL injection, cross-site scripting, broken authentication. These are technical vulnerabilities. Excuse me, just a minute, guys. Okay, I'm so sorry for that. So as I was mentioning, in web application pen testing, we'll be discussing all the common vulnerabilities. Okay, so there's an organization called OWASP. OWASP stands for Open Web Application Security Pen Testing. This website gives a list of top 10 vulnerabilities that exist in websites usually. Okay, so we'll be discussing on the same background. On OWASP, we will be discussing what all vulnerabilities exist on websites and how do you find them and how do you try to eradicate or remove them from your websites. Okay, how to secure your website. After that, there's vulnerability assessment, where we'll be using a very important tool called Metasploit framework to use exploits from the internet and attack any target system in our network. Okay, and then finally comes hacking mobile phones, where I'll show you how to hack or how to perform pen testing on an Android phone, how to create an Android malware and send that malware, and through that malware, how do you get remote access of an Android phone over the internet. Okay, so after gaining access is done, guys, we'll go with maintaining access, where I'll show you how hackers can maintain persistent connections. Okay, so if the user restarts the system, even then you have to maintain that connection and get the access. Okay, that is known as maintaining access. Finally, I'll show you how to report, how to generate a report for all the steps taken, or how to clear the traces, how to remove evidences. So we're learning from both the perspectives, as an ethical hacker as well as a black hat hacker. But again, disclaimer, whatever tools or whatever practicals are shown can cause harm to other people as well. So please do not do anything that you learn from the course, or do not perform any practicals that you learn in the course on other people, which could cause harm to them. Okay, so I'll be giving you a knife. It depends on you or how you use that knife. Okay, so this whole course is in a way where everything is completely real-time scenario based. Everything is practically thought. There is no theoretical time wastage. Okay, the whole course is divided on a 70-30 ratio scenario, where 30% is theoretical, whereas 70% is completely practical based. Okay, we'll be using very important tools that are used in real-time scenarios in organizations and also by hackers in real time. Okay, so a few important tools to list out is like Burpsuit Pro, Wireshark, and then Metasploit framework, and so on. Okay, so these are quite few important tools like Nessus. These are the tools used in organizations in real-time scenarios. So the whole course is, again, as I've told you, completely practical based, completely real-time scenario based, without any theoretical nonsense time-based topics. Okay, and in case if I've missed out anything, I guess the institute might have shared this PDF file with you guys. So basically, since not everyone is from the computer background, before we dive into the advanced concepts, there's a few important requirements, okay, such as virtualization, networking, Linux and Windows commands, and Windows Server configuration. All this is included in the course. Okay, so we learn how to install virtual machines, what is virtualization, and we learn basics of networking concepts. We learn about Linux commands, Windows commands, and how to configure a web server on Windows, okay, or a Windows server. Okay. After all this is done, then we'll dive into the advanced concepts, information gathering, scanning, and all that. Okay, so there's a new batch starting from DurgaSoft. Actually, it needs to start from tomorrow itself. But usually we take a couple of demos. So tomorrow and day after tomorrow as well, we'll be taking demo sessions. Okay, Monday and Tuesday. And from Wednesday, we'll be starting the course full-fledged. Okay, we'll be taking the first class on that day regarding the virtualization part and networking concepts. Okay, so again, I guess the institute has already mentioned the course fees. DurgaSoft is providing the course at the lowest cost possible. I've worked for other institutes as well, guys. I wouldn't want to name a few, but again, people are charging for the same course around 15 to 20,000, whereas DurgaSoft is charging half the price, much lesser than that. Okay, which is around 8,000 or something. Okay, but again, just to confirm the fees, please contact DurgaSoft. Timings, as I've mentioned, is at 7 o'clock early in the morning every single day. Okay, and every day from Monday to Friday, we have a 1 hour class from Monday to Friday from 7 to 8, and that will be from Monday to Friday, as I've already mentioned multiple times. And if there's any other technical queries or queries regarding any of these concepts, here's my number. We provide the personal numbers of the instructors. This is my personal number, 768-006-9768. If you have any queries regarding the payment or regarding the timing or any such part, please contact the institute directly, DurgaSoft. Okay. So in case if there's any queries, and if you're unable to reach DurgaSoft, as I've shown you, there's an alternate number. This number, you can contact me, and I can forward your message to DurgaSoft as well. So other than that, any other queries, guys? Any other questions or doubts before I end the session?
No, sir.
Okay. Any other questions for anyone? Abhay, Gautam, Kumar, Manohar, Manoj, Saujanya. Okay, then let's do one thing. Before I end this, yeah, guys, did someone say something? I heard someone speaking, but I couldn't make out what he was saying.
Gautam was talking something.
Gautam, yeah.
Actually, this was, I mean, in this demo section, you gave only that what you're going to cover in entire course, that only, right? Or you're going to give any samples? I mean, how any particular topic going to explain what is happening like that?
No, this
Just
is
a demo.
demo session to list out all the topics that I'll be teaching. And one, yeah, I usually show one small practical as well, which I was about to show right now. Okay, on an information gathering part.
Any basic things like
yeah, a very small practical. Let me show that since you've asked me again. This is usually at the end of the session, so I'll be showing a very basic information gathering practical. Okay, again, a very basic one. There's a lot of much more advanced ones that I usually show in the course. Okay, which is not. Let's say I'll show you how hackers or any attacker can try to get your device information from a very basic link. Okay, so if he sends you a link and if you click on it, what would happen and how would he get your information is what let me show you that. Okay. So let's say, for example, I'll just take up a YouTube page. So this is the official YouTube page. There's nothing wrong or nothing malicious on this. And let's say I just randomly select any video. So let's say I go over this one. A YouTube page from or YouTube video from TechWise 1 + 9 hour long-term review. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the same link, but I just modify a bit. Okay. And when you click on the same link, you should be getting the same YouTube page. Nothing wrong or nothing malicious. But I'll be trying to get your system information, your device information. So let's see how. I'll just copy this link. I'll open up a new tab and I'll search for a website called Grabify, a very popular website in the hacking or the cybersecurity domain. I guess you might have heard about it in case if you've done a quite good amount of research in this field. But again, if not, let me explain what this website does. Okay, this is an IP logger site which is capable of creating tracking URLs. Okay, and once you create that tracking URL and send it to someone, when they click on it, they get assigned or they get redirected to the original page. But internally, this will capture all your information and display it to the person generating the link. So let me do this practically so that you understand what's happening. Okay, so as you can see, it is asking only one thing: enter a valid URL. So I'll just copy this URL and paste it in this web page. Once I paste that and click on create URL, this will generate me a new URL. Let's wait for that. So there's a custom URL. Now, as you can see, this is my original one and this is a new one. Now, grabify.link seems to be a bit suspicious. So what I can do is I can just change the domain if I want to, depending on my target. Let's say if my target is interested in dating, I would select a dating link. If he's interested in gaming, I would select a gaming link. If he's interested in animals, I would select a cats and thing or whatever link as such. Okay. So let's say I go with Shopify. Okay, something related to Spotify or Shopify. In assuming the target is interested in buying phones or in shopping something. Okay, so I'll give a path as well if I want, giving him an invite path for discount. Okay, and now this is the new link that I have, a completely secure link with HTTPS. As you can see, I'll just copy this link now and share it in the chat box. Okay, in a real-time scenario, hackers would try to, or attacker would try to share it on a website or in his WhatsApp as a WhatsApp status or as an Instagram story or anything. And people usually click on links in Instagram stories or WhatsApp statuses or in tweets. Okay, once you click on it, again, assuming guys, someone has clicked on it, please click on it so that I can show you the rest of the practical as well. And when you click on it, as I've mentioned, you should be getting the same page. There should be nothing wrong or nothing malicious with it. So as an example, let me click it myself as well. So I'll just copy this whole thing and I'll open up a new tab and I'll paste the same link. Once I enter, you will notice if I just come back, this is the 1 + 9 hour long-term review. And over here also, I should be getting the same. As you can see, 1 + 9 hour long-term review. No difference. Okay. But now if I go to my Grabify page, and in the meanwhile, has anyone clicked on it, guys? Again, if you've clicked on it, just don't mention anything. Okay, just mention if you've clicked on it or not. And let me check the results. Okay, do not tell me what your IP is or anything. But in case, if you have clicked on it, again, I can see that no one has clicked on it, if I'm not wrong. Or there's one person. Okay, there's one person. Again, once if you are clicking on it, guys, I would request you to search for something called what is my IP. Okay, and this will show you your original IP that you're getting from your internet service provider. Okay, right now the IP that I am getting is from my Airtel provider, Airtel internet service provider, and this is my IP 110.225.187.91. Okay, and this is the one which I've clicked with. Okay, and I guess if I've got some extra results other than that, no one else has clicked on it. Okay, again, I assume that people are quite scared to click on it, but let me just show you this on my machine itself. So since I clicked on it, as you can notice, I've got my device information. So I know my exact IP. Again, location might not be accurate. Don't worry about that. But I know what is my screen size. I know what is my processor, AMD Radeon processor. I know what browser I'm using. I know what my system's operating system is. And IST, I could not get that information. Sometimes I can get that as Airtel over here. Okay. So from this, an attacker knows what operating system you're using, what is the screen size, what is the browser you predominantly use. And from that, he figures out what kind of a malware he needs to create next time. So when he needs to attack you, next time he'll generate a new link with a Windows malware. Okay. And when you click on that link next time, he will directly get complete access to your system. Okay. So this is just an information gathering practical where he's trying to get information from your device. Okay. From a basic link. So when you click on it on the forefront, nothing happens. You get the same YouTube page, but internally that guy, the attacker who generated that link, gets all this information of your device in a clear format. Okay. Is that clear, Gautam?
Yeah, it is clear. So if you share that link to, I mean, any pop-up ad like that, no, if they click that, we can get the information of a particular system.
Yes.
Correct,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay.
So based on
Again,
that, we can do whatever, I mean, scripting those things and all we can share.
Yeah, depending on the information, he needs to modify his attack. So if you're using a phone, an Android phone, I would have to generate an Android malware for that. If I create a Windows malware, that would not work. So this information helps the hacker to proceed with the gaining access part, to proceed with the further steps of gaining of the hacking site. If I mentioned.
So is there any possible to prevent this? I mean, if, these kind of things.
As I've mentioned,
prevent
attack methods and defense methods as well. So whenever you click such links, see to it that you use a VPN service. Okay. So that when you click on it through a VPN, he gets the VPN service device information, okay, the VPN server's information rather than your original information. So thereby it is always said, whenever you're browsing the internet, always use a VPN to safeguard your information. So the defense method for that would be to use a VPN service whenever you're clicking unknown links or links from unknown sources. Okay. It's a genuine page, it's a Google page or a YouTube page, no problem. But if you're clicking on a link which you've never heard about, like something like Shopify or any such link, which you're not sure if it's safe or not, always use a proxy service or known as a VPN service. Okay. That would be the way to protect yourself from these kinds of attacks. Okay. So as I've mentioned, there's attack techniques as well as defense techniques. Okay. And whenever people don't care about much, okay, if they're reckless or careless, that is where they stand vulnerable. That is where they give out their information to other people. If it takes some time, to install a VPN and run that VPN and then browse. It takes that time, but people are usually lazy, and that laziness itself becomes vulnerable for them. Okay. So again, if you want to safeguard your data, there's a couple of steps that you necessarily need to take, which requires some effort. But when you don't put that effort, that is where you're starting open, completely vulnerable, and hackers can take that information as an advantage. Okay. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's that. There's nothing more to discuss in our demo session today. I hope you have liked it. I hope everything was fine. Apologies if my voice was not clear. I'm a bit sick today. Again, just normal cold, nothing severe, I'm assuming. Okay. But anyways, so yeah, that's that. Nothing more than that. Any questions or doubts before I end the session?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Rahul says no, I guess. Gaurav, Kumar, Manohar, Manoj, Rahul, Saujanya. Rest of the candidates have been completely silent and completely calm. I'm hoping there's no doubts, guys, on your end. Okay, so this is usually a thing that I have understood in my experience. So students have no doubts only in two scenarios. In scenario number one is where they have understood everything. Scenario number two is where they have understood nothing at all. In both these scenarios, you have no doubts. Okay. So I'm safely assuming that it is the first scenario from the end of the session. Okay. I hope everything is clear. I hope everything was perfectly fine. If there's any queries, if there's any questions or doubts in any of these topics, or if you have any further questions regarding any of these topics, you have my number over. Okay, please make a note of that. In case if you have any queries regarding the fees or regarding the timings or any other such queries, non-technical queries, please contact the institute. Okay. In case if institute does not respond back, if you want to initiate any payment or anything, please contact me. I will forward that information to the institute as well. Sure. So
How's Gautam here?
Yeah, Gautam.
Yeah. Actually, you mentioned the session time is morning 7 to 8, correct?
Yeah.
So we will provide the video section also. I mean, suppose if I'm not available at that time, actually 7 to 8.
Every single session. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good question. Thank you for reminding me that I forgot to mention that every single thing, every single video, every single class we take every day is recorded, guys, and it is uploaded to the Google Drive of DURGASOFT. Okay, there will be sharing you the drive link through which you can access the recordings at any certain point. Okay.
Okay, because I have office 9:30, so I need to go. That one. I mean, I have to check. I mean, this one also important, right?
Totally
for the time
understand.
as yeah.
Totally understand. Yeah.
So
Sure.
if
So
it
as
is
I mentioned,
available now, I can
yes, yes.
go to an
Every
evening
class is
time.
recorded.
Mm-mm.
And yeah, we will be sharing the recordings as well. So every class is recorded, guys. It is uploaded to Google, right? But there's a delay a bit actually. So once we take the class today, it should be uploaded in the next 24 hours. Okay. So
Next
since
24 hours.
yeah,
Okay,
on the
okay,
same day actually. Okay. Again,
okay.
mostly since we're taking it in the morning, it should be uploaded by evening at least. Okay. So there might be a bit delay, but every single class will be there on the recorded session.
Okay, because morning I think I'm not possible to attend the class. That's why I'm asking.
No problem, Gautam. As I've mentioned, you will be getting the recording. Okay. In case if
Yeah.
if there's an emergency, I have the recordings from other older batches as well. So if it is too
Yeah.
emergency and if it is you can't wait for that long, you can contact me and I can help you out with that. Not an issue.
Okay. About doubts and all, because
They will be there.
on time
As
class means we can interact both at the same time,
yeah,
so we
as I've
can get
mentioned, I'm giving you my
yeah.
own personal number. So you have WhatsApp on that number as well. So in case you're getting stuck at any point when you're doing a practical, take a picture of that, send it to me on my WhatsApp, and I'll clarify that there and there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
In case I'm not in a class, okay, if I'm in a different session, might get delayed. But if I'm completely free and if I'm not in any other session, I will respond back at the earliest.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, guys. And one more thing. Yeah, Gaurav, yeah, Tor browser is also a proxy service. So you can also use Tor browser to safeguard your data. It was also like a VPN, a browser which is enabled by default proxy service. It uses something called onion routing, which you might know. Okay, using multiple layers of proxies. So even when you use Tor browser also, you're safeguarding your data. That's perfectly all right. Okay, so you have mentioned that in the chat about Tor browser. So just to clarify, Tor browser will also help you safeguard your information. Okay. So yeah, that's it, guys. Nothing more for this session today. I hope you have liked it. I hope you have thoroughly enjoyed the demo. If not, I hope you did not get bored by it by any means. And yeah, if there's any queries, please let me know. If there's any non-technical queries, please contact the institute. And you can make the payment if you're planning on joining the course. And again, we'll have demo tomorrow and day after tomorrow as well. And from Wednesday, that will be the first day of the class. Okay. So,
Same timing will be there, sir.
Same time every day, 7 a.m.
Okay.
1 second. Oh, today's 10 a.m. Sorry. From tomorrow, it will be at 7 a.m.
7. Okay.
Okay. Tomorrow onwards, the classes will be at 7 a.m. in the morning. Okay. So the demo and the classes regularly will be at 7 a.m. from tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, that's it, guys. Nothing more. I'll end the session. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.